Here's what Washington, D.C. offers that Roanoke doesn't.
And why that's okay.
If you're a DC resident and you're considering a move to the Roanoke Valley, you need to watch this video because it might be the best decision you'll ever make.
And let's be honest, we know that DC is a powerhouse. Roanoke's not trying to compete here. Not about pretending that Roanoke is DC because we are far from it for sure. But it's about you understanding exactly what you value most.
Yeah, we took a trip up there to celebrate our anniversary this year. Took Amtrak, had a wonderful time exploring the city. And the contrast between Roanoke and DC was just so striking. I don't know that I'd want to live there, but in this lifestyle, in this stage of our life, but before we really would have considered it. It's a great place.
Yeah, I think so. It kind of reminds me, in some regards, to whenever we were in Atlanta, right? Just with the diversity and everything else that we're going to jump into here in just a minute. But yeah, it was a great trip and definitely looking forward to taking Amtrak back up there soon.
Yes.
Hey, real quick, it's Hal and Chris. If you're interested in buying or selling in Roanoke, reach out to us with the contact information on the screen.
And be sure to take the neighborhood quiz, which is in the description below, to find out what part of Roanoke is going to be best for you. Yeah, overall, if you're energized by power lunches and protest marches, DC is the place.
I don't think that's where I want to be. But if you're craving space to breathe, time to think, I'll ponder a little bit, and actually people who wave when they pass you on the street, Roanoke's going to deliver that in spades.
That's true. Let's really dig in and explore what the differences are. First is going to be a major job market, especially when you're talking about government and policy. DC offers jobs at federal agencies, embassies, lobbying firms, and multinational companies. So if your career depends on proximity to Capitol Hill and international diplomacy, DC wins here.
Yeah, for sure. So Roanoke, by contrast, let's back it up a little bit, is definitely better suited for those of you who can work remotely.
Hmm.
If you're in the healthcare industry, education, see public service, like I just said education, but like fire department, police officers, those types of things, and small business ownership thrives around here. They support each other. We have a small business. We try to support other small businesses. You're going to have a strong sense of ownership in that community here in the Roanoke Valley.
Very true. Public transportation is another area we'll look at. Metro access across DC connects you to even multiple states. You've got bus routes, walkable neighborhoods, and then that DC, it's a very transit friendly city for the most part.
Yeah.
And we enjoyed navigating.
Well, I was gonna say we had a good time. I mean,
We did.
actually we were able to get on the metro, get off, walk to the Smithsonian, walk
It
to
was
different
great.
places.
It was great.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
However, Roanoke, on the other hand, is going to be car centric. We do not have a diverse public transportation system, so being car dependent. But the good news is you don't have a ton of traffic and the
Right.
long commutes.
The next topic to kind of compare would be cultural diversity. I remember walking in DC, hearing multiple languages as you just walk down the street and tour those attractions. It's home to hundreds of international communities.
In Roanoke, they do have a growing multicultural scene, but it's more regional and tight knit than global, I would say.
Yeah.
And we definitely see that a lot. We've got certain pockets around here that you see a whole lot of diversity and a whole lot of people that are embracing their culture and bringing it to life here in the Roanoke Valley.
Sure. And then another topic, one you'll love, is world class dining and shopping. DC has a speed here with Michelin star dining, embassy reception, global cuisine everywhere in DC. We pulled up like where to eat lunch and it was like, oh, we only have 500 options to choose from.
Yeah, which is a little challenging. So we found a couple of dives that we love, went to a
Yeah.
nice restaurant too. And Roanoke, on the other hand, we've got, think more regional, think of local farm to table, those types of things where the community is involved with bringing those to the table for you to enjoy.
Yeah, and it's more up and coming, I would say. You've got local breweries, craft breweries, and we have some diversity and international flavor for sure. And then just the quality of restaurants keeps going up, but still lacking compared to DC, of course.
Yeah.
But I like it.
It's Michelin star rated, but we've
Right.
got some that would be 5-star rated that
Sure.
we absolutely love.
Yeah. Another category here to talk about would be museums and art. DC is notorious for the Smithsonian museums, those national landmarks, and Broadway level performances. It's truly unmatched, and you can't pack all that into one trip. It's fantastic.
No way. You gotta have like weeks there to be able to enjoy all that. I do remember we went on a trip whenever I was in high school from South Georgia. Took a bus ride up and spent like 5 days, and we packed a whole lot in there. But the one thing I do remember the most is going to the Kennedy Center for Performing Arts. I don't remember what performance we saw, but it was like I saw red carpet, like,
Oh,
all this gold, and all this just fancy stuff that I'd never seen from South Georgia. So very impactful on that front, and
yeah.
we'll take the kids up there sometimes.
Right, and if you live there, appreciate it because that is not everywhere, of course,
No.
you know that.
Not at all.
Go check it out.
And Roanoke has vibrant arts district. We've got live music, we've got galleries and theaters, but definitely a lot more intimate. They're smaller,
Mhm.
local flavor.
So, along the same vein as entertainment is going to be professional sports and big events. DC hosts major sports franchises and headline concerts. You rattled all these sports things off. Sports teams off. Let me see if I can do
You
it.
do it?
I know.
You got it?
I got it.
Okay.
The NFL Commanders, right? Hockey, Capitals. The NBA, you've got the Wizards. And then the MLB, baseball, Nationals. And then soccer, DC United.
Oh, good job. Yeah. You name it, you got it in DC. Here in Roanoke, we have a minor league baseball team in the Salem Red Sox. We do have minor league hockey as well. The Roanoke Rail Yard Dogs had a devastating defeat in the first part of the playoffs this year. We won't talk about that. And then for those of you who want to see some college football or any kind of football, you've got Virginia Tech and Roanoke College that are going to bring you that opportunity. So Blacksburg's only about 35, 45-minute drive over. Roanoke College is actually playing in Salem proper at the
Mhm.
Salem Stadium here.
And tons of events. We didn't even touch on events. You can check out our other videos for that.
Yeah, from
Always
like
something.
run out in spring through fall is just something to do every single weekend event wise.
Right. And same with DC. There's a lot, action packed weekends all the time and weekdays. International air travel is going to be another category here. DC airports, Reagan, Dulles, BWI. You can connect to the world from DC.
Yeah. Whereas here in Roanoke, you're gonna have a whole lot of regional connections to get to international places. But I like the fact that it's easy to get into. You get there about an hour and a half ahead of time. You've only got about a 15, 30-minute wait in the security line. Super easy peasy.
And you can connect to those major hubs,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
So, of note, they both have Amtrak. So, we're on even playing fields there. Although DC has a couple of stops, we have one, but it is really nice. We love traveling. So, even playing field
Yeah,
there.
agree.
So, talking about the buzz and kind of influence, if you will, if you thrive on political discourse, protests, working in international policy or national policy, DC's energy is probably going to be for you.
Yeah, that's a whole lot different than Roanoke.
Yes, certainly is.
Because here in Roanoke, we feel like we offer serenity,
Mm,
not a big spotlight, a whole lot less hustle, and a whole lot more home per se, right?
yeah, and I think we should talk about that. So, what is it that Roanoke offers that DC can't or doesn't easily offer to residents?
Yeah. And so this, in our opinion, which, is valuable to us at least, is where Roanoke shines, like we said, especially for those who are ready to trade intensity for more intention. We hear that a lot. Be more intentional about your life each and every day.
I like that.
Yeah.
Intensity for intention. Just trade it over.
That's right.
So,
Right over.
let's dive in. Roanoke is going to offer you more affordable housing and spacious living. The median home prices here are just less than DC's, pretty significantly. And you can imagine owning a home with a yard, neighborhoods, mountain views, and no HOA nightmares. Did I say something funny?
No, you're about knocked down my chair.
These are sweeping views of a yard.
Next, work-life balance. Roanoke's pace is definitely slower and very intentional. It's easier to unplug. You can spend time outdoors, build community, and without feeling like you're constantly behind.
Yeah.
I could just imagine, whenever we were up there for just that weekend, like the intensity of going back and forth on the metro and trying to just get to where you need to go was just
Yeah.
overwhelming to me.
Right. We're not used to it.
That's right.
And then let's talk about nature at your doorstep. This is really important quality of life. Blue Ridge Parkway is right here. The Appalachian Trail, Smith Mountain Lake, even greenways. We have a really significant greenway system. These are just minutes away. So Roanoke is truly an outdoor lover's paradise. You could hike before breakfast and kayak after dinner. How
Yeah.
cool is that?
And we've got clients who actually moved here so they could like mountain bike before breakfast and then they could like mountain bike as soon as they got off work because basically they just grab it and go as soon as they were done in the afternoon. So, and I like the fact we talked about earlier, we've got blue waves with the Roanoke River
Yes.
where they got canoe launches in the city proper. So if
Right.
you want to, you just take your canoe or your kayak to work, drop it into the river and have a good old fashioned float in the afternoon before you get home.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then another area where Roanoke is strong is the strong sense of community. People know their neighbors. Community events are not just Instagram worthy, they're truly personal. You find these connections at local festivals, farmers markets, and it's a culture that I think still values handshakes and hellos.
Yeah. And we always talk about the fact that, you can go to the restaurant, they're going to ask if you want some sweet tea. They're going to say, hey, hun, hey, sugar. And they're just going to really try to make you feel warm and cozy
Oh,
when you come into some of the establishments around here.
sure. And we're ready for remote work. So if you need to work from home, we have the lifestyle here that can match and be suitable for you. Fiber internet pretty much throughout. We'll talk to you about your specific needs. There's lots of co working spaces. And so if you're looking for a home office with mountain views, you could get that here. Lower costs of living. You want to talk about that?
Sure. Yeah. So, who wants to move somewhere where it could be more affordable? I do. But everything from groceries to gas is going to be more affordable here in the Roanoke Valley. Your money's going to go further, whether you're retiring, starting over,
Yeah.
or even raising a family. And we know with the crunch that we're in right now, from an economic perspective, that more in your bank account is going to be a good thing to help you enjoy life and be a little bit less stressed each and every day.
Yeah, and there's certainly trade-offs. You have to study that. The trade-offs are real, but so are the rewards. So if you're ready for a lifestyle change, not just a zip code change, Roanoke might be your next great move.
And want to explore what life here could look like?
Mhm.
Well, just drop your questions in the comments or reach out for a personalized relocation guide.
We'll see you in the next video.